After 6 years living in Vietnam, I still don't have everything figured out, but there are 6 major lessons I've had to learn that I wish I had known when I first got here. These could have saved me thousands of dollars, years of frustration, and just made life a lot better here. So if I could go back in time, the first thing I would change is this. I would try way more Vietnamese dishes from day one. Everyone knows about pho and banh mi, but that's not even 1% of what's available here. When I first arrived, I fell into the trap a lot of foreigners do, ordering cheap Western delivery like pizza and burgers because it felt familiar. But I was eating some Vietnamese food. I was living in Hanoi at the time, and I became obsessed with the local specialty of Hanoi called bún chả. It's cheap, delicious, available on every corner. I ate it 2 or 3 times a week for years. The problem is I never strayed too far away from my go-tos. I was embarrassed about my Vietnamese speaking, so I would avoid places where I didn't know what was on the menu and I couldn't order something in English. That fear kept me from trying a lot of amazing dishes that were literally just around the corner. Cho em sườn cốt lết, ốp la, thịt kho, một trứng thôi. Thêm chút thóc mỡ. So once I got more confident with my Vietnamese, I started to see all these new dishes. And I was like, this has been here the entire time? So now I've got 5 or 6 go-to meals that I eat all the time, but I still try to try new stuff whenever I can. Ngon quá. Lesson number 2 is about house hunting. Finding a good place to live might be the most frustrating part about moving to Vietnam. Of course, the prices are a lot cheaper than in the West, but the quality, it can be all over the place. You really do have to check everything. AC units, water pressure, check for mold and leaks. If something can be broken, it probably is. And on top of that, there's no websites or centralized databases of what's available. Half the listings you see online are outdated. The pictures look nothing like it does in real life. Just knowing where to start looking for places is a huge headache. I've made a few full videos just on how to find apartments, but let me give you the most important things I've learned. Number 1, plan to book a hotel for your first week or so. It's really hard to arrange a place before you get here. Do not put a deposit on a place without seeing it. I promise you the pictures online will lie to you. You need to see the place in person, check it inside and out. What's the neighborhood noise like? Is there construction or karaoke nearby? The next thing you need to figure out is how you're gonna go about finding listings. You can dig through Facebook groups. That's gonna be hit or miss. You can walk around and hope to find some options on your own, but that's gonna be very time consuming. If you get a hold of me, I'll connect you with some of my agents that I've used before and I trust. Now the third thing is learning how to negotiate. This took me a few years to figure out. When I first arrived, I thought I got a great deal on an apartment, $800 a month. I was coming from America where I was paying $2,200 a month for a smaller apartment. So in my mind, I'm winning. I realized later that that apartment was probably worth about $600, but I didn't bother negotiating at all. You can almost always negotiate on the price of the apartment, but maybe the biggest factor is how long you're willing to stay. A lot of people in Da Nang are looking for month-to-month or 3-month leases, so if you're willing to settle in for 6 to 12 months, it's going to give you a lot of leverage to negotiate the lease. All right, this next one is a bit of a weird one, but hear me out. You should probably get yourself a cat. These things tend to just show up at your door in Vietnam. I'm more of a dog guy myself. I didn't even think I liked cats. Now I got 3 of them, but they do make your life better. I was just kidding about that last one. I don't really care if you get a cat or not. I just wanted to lighten up the mood before I talk about the next lesson that you don't want to learn the hard way, which is health insurance. Medical insurance is probably the least fun thing to talk about, but it's pretty important for obvious reasons. When you're traveling in a foreign country, you never know what can go wrong. I'm a relatively healthy guy, and for a long time, health insurance never crossed my mind. That was until I had an accident. I found myself with a broken face, ended up in an ambulance to the ER. Next thing I know, I'm getting wheeled into surgery. I didn't have any insurance at the time, so I had to pay $1,200 out of pocket. So everyone should at least be thinking about health insurance. One of the questions I get all the time is, can I get by in Vietnam with just English? The simple answer is yes. If you're hanging out in touristy areas, most of the staff will understand basic English. But if you're planning on staying long term, you really want to learn some Vietnamese. It's gonna make every part of your life better here. Ordering food, chatting with your neighbors, hanging out at local coffee shops. Thôi, cho anh đen đá Sài Gòn không được. I actually committed to learning early on. I took lessons for about a year and a half, but here's the big mistake I made. Because I thought that I was doing the right thing by taking lessons, I avoided talking to people in real life. I was embarrassed. I kept telling myself, once I get to a certain level, then I'll be able to speak Vietnamese in the real world. But that's not how language works. A teacher can give you the foundations, pronunciation, tones, vocab, but the only way to really improve is by using it in real conversations. So the lesson is this. You need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You need to speak to locals even when your Vietnamese is terrible. That's where the growth happens. Eventually, I stopped taking lessons. I just made an effort to speak to my neighbors, and I improved way faster than I ever did taking 3 hours a week of lessons. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, Vietnamese is very hard. If you think using an app for a couple weeks before you arrive is enough, it's not. But if you do put in the effort when you get here, you'll be having basic conversations within a couple of months. It's okay to start slow. You just learn the basics, things that you use every day. You want to be able to say hello to the aunties at the market. Dạ, chào cô. Saying thank you, cảm ơn. How about how to order a beer? Moi, thêm một bia Huda. That's pretty important, right? If you start with the basics and practice every day, your confidence is going to build a lot faster than you think. For me, it's one of the proudest accomplishments of my life, being able to have basic conversations with locals. And I'm not even that good yet. But Vietnamese people will respect you for trying to fit in. Next thing we're going to talk about is banking and money. Wait, what's that? Oh, my other cat was feeling left out earlier, so he wanted to say something real quick.
Hãy thích và đăng ký nha.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Said please like and subscribe. Sorry, he only speaks Vietnamese. So with money, there's a couple different options. Now, the big mistake that I made was waiting too long to open a local bank account. For the first few months, I was using international wire transfers to pay for things like rent and buying a motorbike, but the money can take days to move and the wire fees add up quickly. Depending on how long you're staying, there's a few different options. Anything less than a month, just bring a good amount of cash with you and an international credit card. There's ATMs everywhere, it's easy to pull out cash, but they did recently start charging a fee of a few dollars every time you withdraw. It's easy to exchange cash, but whatever you do, don't change your money at the airport or even a bank if you can avoid it. In every city in Vietnam, there's gold shops and they're gonna give you a much better rate. In Da Nang, there's a spot called Kim Mi Kim, has the best rate in town. I'll put the address in the description. If you are staying long-term, you want to open a Vietnamese bank account as soon as possible. It's really easy to do. All you need is your passport and a Vietnamese phone number. It takes about 30 minutes to get set up. The reason you want a local bank account is because then you can pay for everything using QR code. Vietnamese cash is always going to be accepted, but you can buy anything anywhere using QR payment with the bank app from your local account. It's the quickest, most convenient way to pay for everything. The next question is, how are you going to get money into your local account? The best way that I've found and what I've been doing personally for years is using a service called Wise connected to my home bank account. I can then use Wise to transfer any amount of money from my home account to my local account. The money transfers almost instantly and the fees are way lower than the international wire transfers. Wise is not a sponsor yet. They're just the best way I've found to do it, and I've been using it for years. Now that we've got all that sorted out, we're ready to settle into life in Vietnam. But there's one more thing you need to think about, and it's a big one. Lesson number 6 is about visas. This is the number one thing that makes people hesitate when they're considering trying to live in Vietnam long term. If you want to retire here or you work remotely, you're going to be on a 90-day tourist visa. No extensions, no workarounds. You're going to have to leave the country every 90 days. It might sound like a pain in the ass, and it is, But if you're someone that likes to travel for 3 or 4 days once every 3 months, then this might not sound too bad for you. I travel to different countries at least a few times a year. Most of the time, this visa situation doesn't affect me at all. I just come back in on a fresh visa each time. But if we're being honest, sometimes your visa is about to expire and you're not in the mood to travel. You just want to get back home and back in the routine as quickly as possible. The tough news about the visa is you need to leave the country before you can apply for the new visa. The typical processing time if you apply on your own is about 3 or 4 days. I've had 2 sticky situations when I got stuck in Thailand and Laos for about 10 days each because I applied on my own, made a simple error, so then I needed to wait through the weekend and an extra couple days before the visa finally got processed. The good news is that you can use a visa agent, pay a small fee to expedite the process. You can get the new visa the same day that you left Vietnam. So nowadays, I can book a flight to Thailand in the morning, use the visa agent, he'll process the visa while I'm in the air, it's ready by the time I land in Thailand, and I can fly back to Vietnam the same day. The entire process is about $200 for the flight and the visa fees, about 9 hours door to door, and I'm back on my couch. It's not a perfect world, but this is the best way to do it for now. If you need help with any of the things that I've talked about in this video, I created a travel group just for people that are moving to Da Nang. I break down everything in detail. My goal is to make moving to Vietnam as stress-free as possible. And we throw a huge party every month. So check out the Da Nang Social Club. It's also going to be linked under the video. Check out the next video where I talk about how our 1-year anniversary party went down. I'll see you over there. Peace.